Hey everyone, thanks for joining Learn to Play Games. My name is Lance, and in today's video I'm going to be playing through another adventure in Shadows of Brimstone. So with this one, I'm going to be focusing on the Derelict Ship, and I'm going to be adding a couple of new enemy packs that I picked up at this year's Gen Con to add some new additional flavor to this particular scenario, and I'm going to be showcasing those enemies very specifically with a couple of other enemy packs that I have had. So I'm going to really pull into some of that and show you how some of that works. So I won't be using the traditional enemies that are normally found in Derelict Ship. I'm going to add my own little spice to that. Now also, if you've watched some of my videos in Shadows of Brimstone in the past, I've always started off with a very basic beginning level posse. With this one, I am going to do it a little bit different. I've played a couple of other scenarios before this to get my characters leveled up a little bit. So I will be having level 2 characters for all of my characters, and most of them are almost at level 3. So we'll see how that goes depending upon how this scenario goes. They might level up throughout the scenario and add even more flair to it. And they come equipped with some pretty nice stuff already. So we'll see how that all goes. So with this one, like I said, I'm going to be diving into the Derelict Ship, and with this particular mission, I have been stranded on this Derelict Ship. I found a passage to this other world, and I'm on this Derelict Ship, and I'm trying to find a way to get off. Now, unfortunately, every so often, the entire ship changes, and so I'm going to have to rediscover the ship as I go along, looking for computer consoles and trying to determine what they are, as obviously we're from the Wild West. We don't know what computers are, so I will have to do some luck tests and hopefully hit the right buttons to trigger different sequences. Now, there has been some rumblings on the ship, and every so often there are skitterings and things in the dark that I'm not sure what they are, but they sound pretty terrifying. So we'll see how this goes and what kind of new enemies I uncover as I explore the Derelict Ship. So as always, if you find my videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider that like button and subscribe to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so we continue to grow, be able to produce this content. If you want to get notified anytime I drop new videos, hit that notification bell, and then I'll let you know whenever I drop new stuff. So let's go to the table. We'll see how this one plays. Alright, so getting into the mission, first let's go over the characters and what they have. So I've chosen to play a gunslinger, and with the gunslinger, he has found the judge. So this will hopefully be a handy weapon to have. It gives me 3 shots now, and I'm going to be using d8s to determine hits, and I'll get to crit on 6s, 7s, and 8s. On top of that, he has found a couple of other things, such as the Rune of Darkness, but I have not equipped that yet. And he also has the Book of the Occult, which gives him +1 lore. And once per adventure, he can prevent the darkness from moving on the depth track. So that can be very useful, hopefully. And his personal item is the Adventure Boots, so that gives him +1 agility and +1 to his movement value. Over the Saloon Girl, she has been tearing it up. So with the Saloon Girl, she chose to take Dirty Fighting. And speaking of which, let's go back over to the Gunslinger. He has Quick Draw, so during the first turn of a fight, he is initiative 10, and he may take, or he gains 1 shot if he's only using 1 handgun. Now, also, with them being level 2 characters, I do want to talk about their abilities that I've chosen. So with the Gunslinger, I have chosen Cool Hands. So this one says at the start of a fight turn, you may reduce your initiative by 3 to gain 1 shot with a 1-hand weapon, and it gives me +1 maximum grit. From there, then the Saloon Girl, I have Dirty Fighting, and this one gives me all my attacks are +1 damage. She has a locket that gives her +1 spirit, and she gets a +1 to all of her rolls for Catch Your Breath. On top of that, she has been finding all kinds of stuff. Now, in town, she did buy a second hunting knife, so she does have a pair of hunting knives. What they do is that once per turn, you may reroll 1 of your melee to hit rolls. And while you have 2 hunting knives equipped, you get to gain a reroll for each. So I get 2 rerolls, and I get a bonus +1 to my combat value for the pair. So now her combat is 3. Now, she also has the Looking Glass, so when you make scavenge rolls, I get to roll an extra die, and once per turn, I may cancel a scavenge card by rolling a d6 on a 5+. She also has the Amulet of Heimgil, and this one says that once per adventure, I can add a d6 or an extra d6 of damage to a single hit, and the teleportation bracket, which lets her spend a grit to teleport D3 spaces, or D36, 3D6 spaces, there we go. And she is also the character that is holding on to the old lantern. Now with the Saloon Girl, I have chosen to take Spunky as my first ability. And so this is anytime you kill an enemy, I get to roll a d6, and on a 5 or 6, I will get to recover a grit. And then her grit, or her max grit, is also bumped up by 1. Moving over to my final character is the U.S. Marshal. He has cigarettes for his personal item, which lets him recover a grit anytime he draws 1 or more loot or scavenge cards. He has the Marshal badge as usual, and he chose Rolling Thunder. So anytime you kill an enemy, you may recover a grit on a D-roll of a 4+. So he's got a number of different ways of gaining grit. And he currently just has the shotgun. Now, he has not been able to find a lot of gear yet, but he has definitely been jacking or getting a ton of money. So that has helped him, and he's working his way towards getting an amount so that he can buy the double barrel shotgun, which is a little bit less range, but gives him 2 shots instead of 1. So that can be really good on top of his double shot that he gets to use once per turn. Now onto his ability, I chose Focus, so you no longer need to target adjacent enemies first when using ranged attacks, and he has a max grit of 1 as well. So all 3 of my characters are at max grit of 3. And with that, moving into the Derelict Ship, first off, I have chosen to add 2 additional supplement packs. I have the Derelict Ship Artifacts 1 and the Captain's Log, which is going to add additional Derelict Ship encounters to those decks. So those are, I have added those in, so just so you're aware of that. Other than that, let's talk about the Derelict Ship itself. So the Derelict Ship has a couple of important special rules. First off, it has interstellar horror. So whenever you hold back the darkness and you fail that roll, the hero or heroes that are furthest from the lantern are going to immediately suffer from the voices in the dark and will have to potentially take horror hits. Other than that, well, on the Derelict Ship, whenever a character explores, which means that when you look through a door or successfully scavenge, then you may draw a loot card on a D-roll of a 5+. So that can be really helpful, as the Derelict Ship has all kinds of cool things that you can potentially grab on your way around the ship. So I'll keep that out. And from there, let's move into the game itself. So again, the Saloon Girl is going to be the Lantern Checker, so we'll start our turn with that. And that is a heck of a way to start us off. So that is an ambush attack right off the bat. So we stepped right on into it. Okay, so let's get into the attack itself. So I will draw a Derelict Ship, Otherworld Threat, and I have found some Shikarri Nomad Crusaders. All right, and with 3 to 4, I'm going to roll the peril die to determine how many of them come out. And I get 5 of them. All right, so I gotta pull those guys. And one of them will have the special weapon, so I'll go over that in a second here. Or actually, that's the other team. So, all right, so then these guys are going to be coming out. So that must have been a greeting party to show me what's going on here. So with these guys, and actually it was an ambush attack, so they're gonna be right up in my kitchen. They have discovered me right off the bat. So these guys are initiative 4, so they're gonna go a little bit quicker, but my other 2 will go potentially first. Now again, it's an ambush, so they're gonna get +2 to that the first turn. So they're gonna go a little bit quicker than most of my characters. They do have Snapfire, which is important. So Snapfire is the enemies with Snapfire will move and attack in melee as normal, but also may take shots of opportunity with their ranged weapons throughout the fight. So when ambushing, select a random hero and place all of the Snapfire enemies on that hero's map tile as far from any heroes as possible. Okay, so let's go ahead and move them back. right, and this guy will go there. That's about as far as they can get. And then they're going to make a free ranged attack at the start of the enemy's activation. If there are no heroes adjacent to it, it makes a free ranged attack using the ranged attack described in its abilities list at a hero within line of sight. And then you're going to use the Snapfire markers to show which heroes are targeted with these free range attacks. The target selection should be based on the heroes with the fewest Snapfire markers already on them. And then from there, they're going to charge. So after completing a free range attack, these enemies will select a target, move, and make a melee attack as normal. And then they also have hit and run. So, or I think they do. I'll have to check with these guys, see if they do or not. Maybe they don't. Or maybe that's just standard for Snapfire. So with that, you'd roll a d6, and each enemy adjacent to a hero at the end of its activation will, on a 3+, is going to make a free move along the shortest distance, to no longer be adjacent to any heroes. So that's important. From there, then these guys have Nomad Armor, so that gives them a 4+ save to any damage that comes their way. And they also are going to have L23 Pulse Guns. This is a ranged attack with a range of 10, 2 shots, and does 3 damage. They have Hunting Corruption, so prioritizes targets, including from Snapfire, based on the most mutations or corruption points, and if tied, the number of mutations. And then they also have Seek and Destroy, so the Shikarri Nomad attacks are +1 damage for each Darkstone or Darkstone icon on an item that the target carries, up to a maximum of 5. If no hero in the party has any Darkstone, mutations, or corruption points, then they do not fight the heroes. Instead, the Shikarri give each hero a loot card for keeping it clean and depart peacefully. Unfortunately, my characters already have Darkstone and stuff. They don't have any mutations. The Saloon Girl did, but I was able to cure it at town the last time I was in town, so that worked out for her, but I still have plenty of Darkstone, so unfortunately, these guys are enemies. All right, and they do have a defense of 3 and a health of 4, so we'll see how that goes. All right, from there, then let's get into combat. All right, so first off, my Gunslinger does have an initiative of 10, and I could choose to drop it down by 3 to get an extra attack, which I think I'm going to do. So I would still go first, and so I'm going to get my 3 attacks from the Judge. I get 1 for the Quick Draw, and then I also get 1 for my ability, the Cool Hands. But I do have to roll for movement first. And I rolled a 4, so I could move in there, which might not be a bad idea, so that they don't get so many quick shots if they happen to block my shots. So I think I will do that. So I'm going to go here. I don't want to block the... Well, they're still going to move away. So I actually will plug myself right in that hole and see how this works here. All right, so I am going to be... Oh, I am actually rolling the D8s now because of the Judge. So I'll use these, and I'll have to roll another one after this. All right, so there's a 2, a 1, and a 3. So I almost couldn't have rolled much worse, so I will pop my grit and re-roll all of those shots, because not a single one was a success. Well, the 3 was, but I'm going to reel them all over anyways. All right, so that's a little bit better on a 1 and a 2, so still terrible rolls, man, but I did get 2 criticals. All right, so the enemies are going to get their armor now. All right, never mind, that's incorrect. I do it after. So I have 2 criticals, so those are going to do damage now. So this is, uses D8s to hit, and counts as a critical hit. Okay, so it's just for the hits. I'm still doing the D6s on those. So I'm going to bypass his defense. I'm going to go after the one here first. So I will do 5 wounds on him. So then he's going to get his armor. So he's going to roll 5 dice. Any 4 or betters are going to avoid damage. All right, so he stopped 3 of them. So he's going to take 2 from that. And then my second shot, I'll go after I'll go after him as well. And it's 6 shots. All right, so go ahead and roll these. So I've got 2 on him so far. And as long as he fails 2, which he failed 1, incredible. That was 5 successes on saves. All right. And I would have had to choose to pop those first. All right, so he's got 3 wounds on him. But that was not enough to take him down. All right, so that being said, now the enemies are going to go. So luckily, these 3 are not going to get those snapshots as they are in melee with a character. So I did at least stop that from happening. So yeah, it says at the start of the enemy's activation, if there are no heroes adjacent to it. So these 2 will get to do snapshots, and they are going to randomize the heroes. So first one is on the U.S. Marshal, so he's going to have 1 there, and then the second one will go on a different enemy, which is the Saloon Girl. Okay. All right, so they are both going to have 2 shots. They are successful on 3s, so against the Saloon Girl, she is going to take 1 hit. All right, so she rolls 1 die. And she does defend it, so no damage there. And on the U.S. Marshal, 2 shots on him. And 1 as well, so can he save his as well? And it was a 2, so he is going to suffer 3 damage from that. As that does 3 damage, yep. Okay. All right, so then they move in for melee. So those 3 are already adjacent to me. And I can remove these Snapfire tokens. So first off, we have to, each enemy is going to choose a target. So this guy is the closest technically, so he is going to go ahead and come around here to the Saloon Girl, as they do have a movement of 5. And this guy is going to do the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this guy's going to stay on the Gunslinger, so then we have to randomize the final 2 and see where they go. So the first one is going to go after the Saloon Girl. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the next, or the last one there, is off the Gunslinger. So he's going to step forward and hit the Gunslinger as well. Actually, he'll come around the back end. Okay. All right, so then they each get 3 combat dice. So against the Gunslinger, there is going to be 6 dice. And they hit on 4s for melee. All right, so they didn't do very well at all with just 1 success. So the Gunslinger rolls his defense, and he fails that. So he is going to take 2 damage for that. All right, against the Saloon Girl, there are 2 of them. They did a lot better against her, so that is going to be 4 successes on the Saloon Girl. All right, she stops 2. I guess I can take that for now. So that is going to be 4 damage on her. Okay. And then the final one is on the Gunslinger, or the U.S. Marshal. He got 1 success. U.S. Marshal is successful in defending that. All right, so that will take care of the enemies, and then they do try to move away. So that was each one of them is going to have to make that roll. So that was hit and run. So roll a d6 for each enemy adjacent to a hero at the end of its activation. And the roll of a 3+, it makes a free move along the shortest distance to no longer be adjacent to a hero. So let's go ahead and just start from the top here. And he is going to move away. That guy is going to move away. The one over next to her, to the Saloon Girl, is going to stay. The one behind is going to move, which he is blocked in because he cannot move either way. So then this final one here is going to stay as well. So those guys are kind of pinned in, so that will hopefully work in my benefit here. We'll see. All right, so on to the Saloon Girl. So she gets her roll for movement, and she gets a grit, so that's at least hopefully helpful. And then she does have the 2 combat plus the additional one with the knife. So she got 1 hit so far, and I get 2 rerolls thanks to the hunting knives. And it's a 5 and a 4, so I have 1 critical and 2 regular hits. All right, then I have to assign damage or assign hits. So let's go ahead and start with the regular ones against the one on the side there. And I'm just going to go ahead and roll both of them against that one because I got a feeling I'm going to need them. All right, so I got 5 hits plus each one does an additional damage. Well, first off, they're going to take away their defense. So this one does 2, and his defense is 3, so that's going to wipe that out completely. This one is at 5. His defense is 3, so it's going to have 2 on him. He gets his armor and takes 2 wounds. All right, so he wasn't ready for her to punch him in the face, I guess. All right, and then she does have the one that bypasses his defense, so let's just go ahead and try to take him out. And I rolled a 1, so I'm going to go ahead and re-roll that. All right, so that's a little better, so that gives me 5 wounds on him, and he gets his defense, or his armor, and doesn't stop 2, but blocks 3 of them. All right, so 2 get through. That is going to be enough to take him out, and that's going to get her 35 experience points. So there's 25, 35 for that. All right, so these guys are tough. Whew. All right, so that takes care of her. She does have the holdout pistol. So sure, I'll shoot at the one behind me. And it is a hit. So for wounds, 6 wounds, so 7 wounds. I do take away 3, so 4 gets put on that guy. And he blocks everything but one of them. So I guess at least she got 1 wound on him. These guys are tough. All right, that is her turn. Over to the U.S. Marshal. He got a 4, so he is not going to. He's not going to move. All right. I do have the. Oh, she did kill the 1, so she does get to roll a d6. Okay, she does not get her grit back. Okay. On to the U.S. Marshal. I am going to fire at the one that has the wounds on him to try to take that one out. So first shot is an 8, so it is a critical. And for wounds, it's going to be 5 wounds on that guy. So as long as he doesn't block all of them, then I will kill him. And he blocks 3 of them. Whew. All right, so I do take him out. So that's another one down. I get to roll on a 4+. Nope, I don't get a grit for that. And I do get an extra shot because of my double shot. So I am going to go ahead and target the other one that's wounded. And it's a 3. I will spend the grit to re-roll that. And it gives me a 6, which is a critical. So wounds is going to be just 2. All right. So on that one, he blocks 1 and takes 1. All right, and I did not kill him, so I don't get to roll to recover a grit. All right, that is the end of the combat, or the end of the round. She is adjacent to the U.S. Marshal, so I can recover a wound. I am not adjacent to him, and I will get 5 XP for that. All right, back to a lantern check. All right, so I'm at 10, so I'm good there. Over to the gunslinger to go for my movement. All right, 1, I get a grit, so that's good. And it is over to my shot. So I get 3 with the judge. And she's going to get to go next. So I always forget. So he gets to use the D8s. All right. I'm going to try this guy. Well, I have to roll a hit, and then I can assign, so I don't have to really worry about that. All right, so I have a 5, a 7, and a 1. So the 1 misses. The 5 is a regular hit, and the 7 is a critical. So the regular hit on this guy is a 4. Yeah, I'll let it go through. So just 1 wound, and he blocks it. So no damage there, and I'll do the critical on the guy in the back. And I got 4. I will spend a token. So that's going to bump it up to 6. So he'll get his armor. And he stopped 3 of them. So 3 go through, and that's enough to take him out. Okay, so at least I got a couple out of the way. All right, so that's another 35 for him. And I forgot to give the U.S. Marshal his as well, so he's going to get 35 for the one that he took out. All right, over to the Saloon Girls. Her initiative is 5. She's going to get 3 attacks and a movement. All right, so movement's nothing. All right, so on to her attacks. Ugh. All right, so two rerolls. And all 3 attacks failed. All right, unfortunately, that is not good. All right, so I do get a snapshot with this guy. So he is going to choose a target. And I think technically, Seek and Destroy, +1 damage for each Darkstone or Darkstone icon on an item. Okay. All right, so actually the Slim Girl's got a couple, so she's going to take some additional damage there. So I'll give 2 more onto her. Okay. And he also took a couple, so I'm going to give him a couple extra. All right, and so did the other guy. So definitely more brutal. All right, and Darkstone, that target carries. All right, so I think with this guy, he's going to target the Gunslinger because he does have a corruption where the other 2 do not. So it does say that they prioritize that. So he's got 2 shots coming his way, and they both miss. Luckily, because those shots are absolutely brutal. All right, and then he's going to move in and attack. And this guy has already started on the U.S. Marshal, so he's going to stay with him. All right, so I will do the one against the Gunslinger first, so on 4s. So 2 hits on the Gunslinger, and his defense, I'm good on both of them, actually. So I was able to prevent that. And on to the one against the U.S. Marshal. He also got 2 hits. So U.S. Marshal blocks both of those as well. So holding strong there, and then it is the U.S. Marshal's turn. Oh, and they do get to try to move away. So first guy fails. The second guy fails. All right, so they're stuck in there. All right, U.S. Marshal, he could move, but I think I'm good where I'm at. So I will start off with the I'm going to do the shot against this guy. And it is a critical, so I do hit him, and I'm going to do 7 damage to him. All right, so he gets his defensive roll. And their armor is strong, so I do 3 wounds to him, though, at least. So it doesn't kill him, but it gets close. That armor is brutal. Okay. And that is everything I can do there, since I failed that shot, I don't get another one. All right, so then it is a new round. So lantern check, and it's a 7, so I'm holding strong so far. On to the gunslinger. I am not going to get another grit. I do get 3 shots with the judge. A 4, a 5, and a 1. So it's going to be 2 regular shots. No damage. I will try to take that guy out. And I rolled a 2 and a 1, so his armor or his defense blocks all of that. All right, on to the saloon girl. She's not going to move, I don't think. Well, unless she wants to go up there. I'm going to keep working on the one that's in front of me. All right. Wow, 3 6s. Okay, so she's got 3 crits on him. She is not happy. All right, so it's straight damage. So he is going to have to block. I'm going to pop a grit for that. That was a terrible roll. I got 5 out of that whole thing. Not much better. Okay, so this converts to a 4, and both of those are 3s, so that is 10 wounds. His armor. All right, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he, yeah, 50%. It's pretty consistent there, but I do have done enough to take him out. All right, so she does get to roll a die on a, and she got her grit back. Nice. That is from her ability, and that's going to get her 35 XP. Oh, and I forgot at the end of the round, she does heal the U.S. Marshal. Got to remember to do that. All right, so we have 1 guy left who is going to get his shots. He doesn't get the range shots as he is adjacent, so he's just going to do his melee attack and misses all 3. So very fortunate there. On to the U.S. Marshal. I am going to move up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my shots. All right, on to him. And it's a 4, so it's a regular hit. So he does get his defense. And it's 4, so he's he's going to roll 1 die. And it's a 2, he fails. So it was a low shot, but it was enough to take him out. So that's good. All right, I do get a roll to see if I get grit, and I do. All right, I get 35 XP for taking him out. And I get some loot cards. All right, so let's see what we get here. So I'll go ahead and shuffle these. Each of my characters is going to get 1. All right. And his flopped up, so that's what he gets. All right, so for this, it's D6 times 25. I got 3, so I get 75 there. So there's that. And I get 20 XP. So there's that one. That will take care of that. On to the Saloon Girl. She found a gear card or an artifact card if in an otherworld. So she is in another world. So she has found a plasma torch. It has +1 strength. Use 1 grit to add +2 damage to one of your combat hits. This may be used multiple times per hit. Okay. She's going to go ahead and pass it to the U.S. Marshal as he does not have anything yet. And this is a hand weapon. +1 strength. We'll get to add +2 damage to one of your combat hits. Alright. So that adds a strength to him, so I'll have to make sure that I mark that. And she gets 20 XP for that. Which she's got quite a stack here, so let's see if we can break this down a little bit. There's 50 and 100. Alright. So I can cash that back in and get 100 points. Alright, and that's that. And that puts her at 850. So or 850 plus this. So she is not too far away from leveling up. And over to the gunslinger. Oh, wow. And he got the same thing, so 20 XP for that. And he gets a artifact card. Oh, we got a breaching gun. This is a range 4, 2 shots. Uses the D8 to hit, and the damage +6 counts, or 6 plus counts as a critical hit. Any model that takes 1 or more wounds from this gun during the turn also gains a stunned marker. Wow. I guess I will give this over to the U.S. Marshal as well, so that the U.S. Marshal actually has some good stuff now. That worked out really well, as the U.S. Marshal was looking at saving up for something like that anyways. So this is great, and I will have to pull out some stunned tokens, or actually have some stunned tokens out there already. Alright, and now we can actually hopefully start exploring. Oh, and I also have to catch my breath. So for the gunslinger, I get 2 back. For the Sloom Girl, she gets 2 back as well, +1 because of her locket. So she'll get 3. And over to the U.S. Marshal, who gets 3, but he only can have a max of 2. And I also do get a grit from my cigar, as I did get a loot card. So that will take care of that. Boy, I hope I don't run into too many of those guys. They were brutal. Okay, so now we're ready to move into a new round. So holding back the darkness. And it fails. So it is going to move forward 1. So that is going to cause the U.S. Marshal to take he's going to take D3 or D6 horror hits. It's 6 horror hits. He's only got 8 sanity, so this is not looking great so far. All right, so I stopped 3 of them, so I'm going to take 3 horror hits from that. Whew. Okay, so unfortunately that didn't work out too well. Over to the gunslinger is a movement of 2. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so I'll go there, and I have to draw a ship card as I'm going to look through the door. And I also get to roll a D6, and I got a loot card for that. So I ended up finding a dark stone and 30 XP. So there's the 30 and a dark stone. It's shuffled back in. And the tile is the Astro Navigation. So Astro Navigation, and I enter in on this space. Okay. Exploration token. Okay, and I'm not playing the advanced rules for this, so I'm not going to do an encounter card for every tile. I do move the track forward 1. And that is my gunslinger's turn, so over to Sloom Girl. All right, she gets a grit. And she can move 2 spaces, which puts her just out of range, unfortunately. Otherwise, she could have done some healing. And the U.S. Marshal is a 3. Oh, I can actually I'll do a scavenge on this tile with her real quick. So before I move on, wow, 2 of them. Okay. She gets to roll. Nope, did not get a loot card. All right, so 2 scavenge cards, and I do this now. So this is where things go rough, because the 2 games that I've played so far in the Shadows of Brimstone with these characters, I have yet to pull a card that is a good card per se, that actually gave them an item or whatnot, or even had a chance at it. So we'll see if that continues throughout this adventure, or if it's going to be rough as usual. All right, so I have nothing here and a hideous discovery. So I'm going to roll on my looking glass. If I get a 5 or better, I get to cancel this. And not so much. All right, so unfortunately, I'm going to take D3 horror hits on 4s. I stopped 2 of them, so I'm going to take 2 horror hits. Okay, and then I'm going to get 20 XP for that. Okay. So the tradition continues. I have yet to pull a good card. And then I have to mark that tile as with the first scavenge token. So with 3 or 4 heroes, I get to scavenge each tile twice. Now I'm over to the U.S. Marshal. It's a 2. I will move 1, 2. So I do want to be kind of centralized just in case the enemy, if there are enemies, he does not have a very far distance gun. I'll need to be kind of in the thick of things. And I will go ahead and try to scavenge that tile. And 2 1s and a 2, so nothing there. Okay, that is the end of my turns. So exploration token is an attack, and it's a gateway tile. So for this adventure, I'm just going to count that as a opening. So I have to determine which space is open. So on the card is 5, 6. So this is the open space. So the other 2 are going to be closed. And it is an attack, so I got to determine what I will be facing. Hopefully it's not the rest of that party of enemies. This tile does not want to click in there very well. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right, so now we have the Shikarri Void Pirates, and it's going to be a peril die of them. And it's 5 of them, so we'll see how these guys go now. So these guys do have some special stuff. So the models are going to matter for this. So the model here with the big shotgun kind of looking gun is going to be the special gun for this. As for every 3 of them that are part of this party, he has a wave gun. All right, so they are initiative 5, and this was not an ambush attack. So first one is there. Second, we'll put the third one there, and then these 2 will go here and here. All right. So with these guys, they have a plasma shield, so it's a 5 cover. And it's a 4 if they're adjacent. And then they also have an M5 pulse pistol. It's a ranged attack. At the end of this model's move, it makes a free ranged attack at a random hero. And they have the Xeon Saber. So Shikarri Void Pirate melee to hit rolls of 6+, ignore defense, and armor. And the hero must also discard 25 gold. And then every third Void Pirate in the group replaces their M5 pistol and saber with the Wave Gun. This is a ranged attack. Instead of moving and targeting normally, this model targets a random hero and moves the shortest distance to attack with range 10, one shot, and it does D8 damage to roll to hit the target and each other adjacent hero to them at -1 defense. So absolutely brutal. Would love to get in there and hopefully mess that guy up before he has a chance to take a shot at me. They are initiative 5, so the only one that's going to have a shot at it is the Gunslinger. And other than that, that is it. Now they do have clans as well. So there's a deck of Shikarri pirate clans. So I believe that I reveal one of these as well to see where they come from. So let's go ahead and try that. So this is the Nameless Damned. All right, broken by the loss of their worlds, these warriors have forsaken everything that tied them to their old lives, even their names, wearing black war paint across their eyes and wrapping their jumpsuits with the white death shrouds of the Shikarri. They have accepted their fates as a civilization damned by the curse of the void. So nothing left to lose. Loses the plasma shield ability, but gains +2 defense. Heroes do not need to discard gold for their Xeon Saber ability. Chance of the Dead. When one of these models is killed, all the Shikarri Void Pirates gain +1 health for the rest of the fight. Bounty, they're worth $30 each. Okay. So I'll leave that out. This can be discarded. All right, so nothing left to lose. So they don't have their shields. So that means that they lose their cover save. So that's a plus at least. But they get +2 defense. Their defense is 5. So pretty much it's crits or nothing. So the crits are the only thing that really matter with these guys now. All right, so over to the Gunslinger. Roll for movement. And I got a movement of 6, so I get to get on up in there. 1, 2, 3. So that'll give me range to pretty much everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4. Range is 6. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I got range to everybody. I am going to get 3 shots +1 for that, and I am going to use my cool hands to get an additional 1. So I will get 5 shots on this initial attack. So my first 4. All right, so I got a 6, a 7, and I have a 1. So I get another shot first, so before I do any rerolls. All right, so 3 crits so far, and I have a 5. So if I spend the grit now, I would basically get 2. Well, I could reroll this one. Well, I can only reroll misses, so technically those were that, so I'd only get to reroll 1 die. I think I'm going to hold with that. All right, and so from there, I will get that last one. Probably is going to be a dud. I basically have to roll a 6. And I did. Wow. Okay. I'll just put it on the guy in front and see what he he doesn't. They don't have any cover save or anything, so it's just the wound. Okay. All right. So that's that. And then I will go on to the guy in the back, or the guy with the big gun. So it's a 6, so that's going to kill him. On to this guy here. It's a 6, it kills him. So it worked out that they don't have the covers, and I'll go on the guy in the back there. And it's a 5, so that's going to take him out as well. Wow. All right, so that was a total of 70. That's 105 experience for that. So luckily, that worked out pretty well. And I should probably convert some of these points down so I can see what he's got. So there's 50. I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 as well. So that's going to get me another 100. All right, so he's up to 850, 880. Okay. That was extremely successful. He just got up there and used the judge. Wow. And that's that. So then they're going to go. So they are going to choose their targets. I think they can get to... They have a movement of 5. So they won't be able to get to the Saloon Girl. So I'll leave her token out. So it's just the 2. So first one that's in the front there is going after the U.S. Marshal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he does get behind him. And then the other one will go after the Gunslinger. 1, can't barely see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He just barely makes it. Okay. So on their attacks, this guy loses the plasma shield plus 2 defense. Heroes do not need to discard gold. Then when one of these models is killed, all others... Okay, so they did bump up, but I still was able to take them out as I rolled 6s and 5s. So at this point, they're at 5 health, so I almost forgot that, but it didn't matter. I rolled high enough that I took care of them anyways. All right, so they have 3 combats. So I'll go ahead and do this against the U.S. Marshal first. And 2 hits. Or 3 hits, because they're actually hitting on 3s with melee. And I saved all of them. Wow, that was a good roll. So that'll take care of that one. And against the Gunslinger, 2 hits. All right, so I stopped 1, and 1 gets through, so they do 3 damage apiece. These guys are nasty as well, so he's up to 5 wounds. All right, and then there is nothing else currently. Okay, so then it's the Saloon Girl's turn, so she'll go. And she's got a movement of 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. She'll get right up in there. That way she's next to both of them. And then I will attack. All right, I got 1, 2 hits. And I get a reroll. All right, so 3 hits. And I do get my pistol back. All right, and I'll go against that guy. He's the only one I can hit. So I need high numbers, because they get plus 2 defense. So we'll see what we get here. All right, so I got a 1, a 2. All right, so I will re-roll those. Let's see if I can get any better results here. That's a lot better. All right, so both of those 6s bump up to 7s with the plus 1 damage. Now he does have 5 defense. So with that, I'm going to do 4 wounds. And then this one just did not do enough to do anything. So he's got 1 hit point left, so not enough to take him out. I got close. Okay. Well, I do have the holdout pistol, so let's go ahead and take a shot. And it's a hit, and it's a crit on a 5 or 6. And 4, that will take him out. So that the little holdout pistol worked, and I get to roll. Nope, no recovery. Okay, so I do get 35 for taking him out. So that's that. And on to the U.S. Marshal. All right, he rolls a 6. I am not going to move. I will take a shot. So first one is a 2. I will spend a grit to re-roll that. And it's a 1. All right, so no luck there. Okay. U.S. Marshal has... Oh, wait a minute. I get 2 shots now. So second die is an 8. So it is a crit. And wounds is going to be 2. Yeah, try to reroll it. 4. Okay, so 4 wounds. is a crit, that is going to take him out. Okay, so I did to get rolled, see if I get grit back, and I do. So I will cover one of those. I get 35 XP for taking him out. And then we get a loot card. All right, so those guys, that'll be discarded. And loot cards all around. All right, so what we're looking for, I also forgot to tell you what we're looking for. So anytime there's an exclamation point on the exploration token, it's going to signal that we found one of the computers. And each computer character next to it or adjacent to it can take a skill check or a luck test. And if that character gets any sixes, then that test is going to pass, and you'll be able to activate that computer. And once we've activated all 3 computers, it will open up a portal back to our dimension. Okay, so starting off with the Gunslinger. Oh wow, draw an artifact or gear card if in an otherworld. All right, so I do get a gear card for this one. So I found 2 dynamite tokens. Okay. And that will max me out, as I do have 5 tokens now. Okay. So that could be helpful, and I get 20 XP for that. So I'll just cash these in and just get a 50. So that puts me up to 900. So he is 100 experience away from being able to level to 3. All right, she gets 50 and 20 XP. Is that enough to cash in? So that is, oh, and she does get to heal them, so she's gonna get 10 more for that. They get to remove 1 and 1. And there's 40, 50. And that's 95, so I'll just hold on to that at the moment. That puts her at 945, so she's even closer. And the final card is another artifact. Wow, I cannot complain about the cards at all. I have the Warp Pistol. This take 1 corruption hit to fire. Okay, and it has a range of 7, 2 shots, crits on 5+. All right. I guess I will just hold on to that for the moment. I don't know if that one's going to be worth using or not. I might just discard or sell it, but that one is worth a fair amount. So, and I get 20 XP for that. I think he is straggling a little bit because he has not had as much luck, but I do get a gear or a grit because of the loot. Okay, so let's see where we're at here. I got 75. That'll put me at 105. There's another 50. And I get that back. Actually, I'll just trade that in and keep that. All right, that puts you at 775. All right, so he's straggling a little bit with experience. That's okay. That is the end of the round, so we're ready to move into a new round. Okay. Lantern check. And she passes. So we're good there. On to movement. It's a 3, so I get to 1, 2, 3. Look through the doorway, and I found a habitat ring. there's that. Okay, so we'll move that back, and this one enters in like that. Drop an exploration token in there, and we'll see what happens. Okay, and I do get to roll a d5, and I did find something, so I get a loot card. And it is 100 gold and 20 XP. So there's that, and 20. Onto the Saloon Girl. She gets a grit. Can move 2. So she's just going to move forward 1 and call it a day there. And I will try to loot that room. And I found something. So let me mark it. So 1 there. And scavenge. Oh, and I do get to roll a 5 or a die. And I get a loot card instead. Because I believe it kind of replaces it. So when a Derelict Ship, when a hero explores, looks through a door, or successfully scavenges, they may draw a loot card on a d6 roll of a 5+. So I would say it's a loot card instead. All right, so I get a Darkstone and 30 XP. So I'll cash that in and get 50. She's almost there. And the interesting thing is that when a hero has enough points to level up, that hero must do so by the end of the adventure, but can choose when to do it. And when a hero chooses to do it, you recover 1 grit, and all of your health and sanity are removed. So all damage is taken back as well. So that can be a really helpful thing as your hero starts taking some damage. All right, that is her turn. Over to U.S. Marshal. He gets a movement of 3. So I'm just going to move up 2 and continue gaining benefits from that. Oh, and I forgot to do the catch your breath after that combat. So Gunslinger gets 2 back. The Saloon Girl gets 2 back because of her thing there. I will take 1 health and 1 sanity. No, I'm going to do 2 health. She's got a ton of sanity that she can take because of her +3 on top of everything else. She's at 17 for sanity. And the U.S. Marshal will get all his back, so he gets to remove the 2 sanity he took. All right, and then he is going to go ahead and scavenge as well. He'll go ahead and scavenge that back room that we came from, and he does not find anything. Okay, so he does not benefit from that at all. That is the end of the round, so flipping that over, it is an attack and an exclamation point, so I will add a computer to that room. So I'll place that back here. And it has 2 doorways, so let's see which one's closed. Yeah, well, that actually worked out, because I was like, I can't go too much farther this way, so that actually is pretty beneficial. So it's either one of those ways. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and draw a card, and there is going to be something that happens when our characters reach the depth track there. So I do move down 1. I forgot to do that earlier. Okay, so I do have an attack. So I got to draw a card. So let's see what we have coming out here. So we have some more Void Pirates. It is another peril die of them. Just 4 this time, so not as bad. So we'll have 2. I'll have 1 with the special gun. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And let's see what kind of clan these guys are. So this is the Flesh Scavengers. This is corruption affiliation. So at the start of each turn, heals 2 wounds and gains an extra +1 combat and +1 health for the rest of the fight. Oof. Stolen flesh. Any hero KO'd by a flesh scavenger loses D3 health permanently. Wow. Brutal. And I gotta pull their card back out. All right, and it is the gunslinger to start us off. So he's going to do what he does best. He'll do his 2 using his quick draw and cool hands, and he has a movement of 5. So he's going to get right up in there. 1, 2, 3 to go there. And let's start off and see what we get here. So these guys do have the shields now, so that is going to make a little bit of a difference with some of this. All right, so there's 1. There's so all of them hit. Only 1 crit. And I have 1 more die of stuff to come up. So I will start off with some hits. So let's see here. I do not like that wave gun at all, so I'm gonna continue to try to target him. So the first hit does, they have a defense of 3. So that's going to be 1 point of damage. And they do have a cover of 5+. That is not going to help him, so he will take a wound. Second shot is a miss, or it hits, but the defense soaks it. Third shot is 2 damage. Okay, and he saves 1 of them. So he'll take a second wound from that. I get 1 more shot with the gun, so it's a second crit. So the 2 crits, 1 of them I'll go on to him. So it's going to be 3 more. 2 of them would have to come up. I really don't want him to be able to do it, so I'm going to do 5. All right. And he takes 3 damage. So I think it actually worked out that I did spend that. All right, so that takes care of that, and he is going to be removed. And I got 1 more shot. That's a crit, and it just does 1. So, and he does take a wound. So that'll be on this guy here. All right, I get 35 XP for taking out the 1 guy. Okay, and that is his turn. So now it's over to the enemies to go. They have a movement of 5. So this guy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he can actually reach everybody. So let's see where he goes. So he's going to go to Saloon Girl. Next one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he can actually go after either one. All right, U.S. Marshal. And this one, we'll go after him. All right, so first off, as they close, they get to make a ranged attack. At the end of this model's move, it makes a free ranged attack at a random hero. 4 shots, 2 damage. Wow. That's absolutely brutal. And then it gets to say where these guys can deal out some serious damage. Okay, so first off, all right, so the first one that's against the Saloon Girl is going to go after the Gunslinger. So he gets 4 shots, and his range is, or their range is 4. So 3 of them are hits. Luckily, they don't get any crits. All right, he does save 2. Will take 2 damage. Okay. The next one is going to go against the Saloon Girl. And 2 hits on her. She blocks both. And the final one that's against, they have a range of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I actually can hit everybody. All right, and it's going to go after the U.S. Marshal. And 2 hits. So U.S. Marshal blocks both of them. Okay, and now it does. Now they do their regular attacks with their sabers. All right, so it rolls a 6. Ignore defense. Okay, that's absolutely brutal. All right, so 3 combat hits. So against Saloon Girl first, and 2 are successful. She gets her defense. She blocks both. Okay, against the U.S. Marshal, 1 hits, and he blocks that. And against the Gunslinger, 2 hits. 1 is a crit, so he loses 25 golds. And I don't have a 25 out here, so switch that out for that. Okay. And he doesn't get defense, so he's going to take 3 damage from that one. And the other one is a save. He saved it on a 6. All right, so 3 damage on that. So that puts him up to 7. Whew. All right. That is their turn. So now it is over to the Saloon Girl. All right, she cannot move, so she's going to attack the one in front of her. 2 hits. This is a miss, so she gets to re-roll it. 3 hits, no crits. So I'm going to dump everything onto that one. All right, so that bumps these to 5s. And that one was a 1, I believe, so that's a 2. They have a 3 defense, so 4 wounds are coming at him. And he gets a cover of 5+. He saves 2, so he takes 2. That's going to put 2 on him. And I do get the holdout pistol, so 1 shot with that. It's a 6. 5 wounds. So I just need him to fail 1. And he fails more than 1. So he's going to go down and I get 3 XP. Or 35, not 3. Okay. So the holdout pistol has worked again. I have not usually had that much luck with that. So after her is going to be the U.S. Marshal. I get a grit. And I'm just going to stay, well, probably could move then. So let me see if I can do an escape. Nope, I'm stuck there. All right, so with his, I got 2 shots now. And it's a 6 and an 8, so double crits. And damage is 4. I am going to re-roll those. That's a little better. All right, so it goes from 4 to 14. All right, first 6. He fails. That's enough. All right, so I don't have to worry about it. All right, that is going to be that. And I get 35. And I get to roll to get a grit back. And I do not. And I do get another shot. Is this considered a shotgun? It is a shotgun. Once per turn, when you kill an enemy with a shotgun, you gain +1 shot with the shot. Okay. All right, so I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4. I can reach him. It is a crit, and it's going to do 4 damage to him. All right, he does block 2 of it, so he's going to take 2 damage. But let's see, with that then it says uses a D8 to hit and to damage, plus 6 pluses or crits. Any model that takes 1 or more wounds from this gun during a turn also gains a stunned marker. Alright, so you are stunned, my good sir. And stunned is going to, any model with 1 or more stunned markers on them is at -1 defense. At the start of the model's activation, roll a d6. On a 4+, the model may remove 1 stunned marker. Remove all stunned markers from a hero at the end of the adventure. Okay. So unfortunately, it's not going to help a whole bunch at this point. Well, it kind of will, because I'll get to go before they get to go, at least with Gunslinger. All right, so then she would be able to heal, but he's at full health, surprisingly. And so that is the end of the round. So then we have Holding Back the Darkness and an 8, so we're good. She's been doing an amazing job so far. The Gunslinger is going to roll 3. I will try to break away. I am successful. So let's go 1, 2. All right, and then I got 3 shots with the judge. I got 2 successes. One of them is a critical. So regulars first, does 5. His defense is normally 3, but the stun drops it to a 2, so it's going to do 3 to him. And he blocks 2 of them, so he's up to 3 wounds. 1 more will take him out, and then the critical is a 6. All right, so that should probably finish him off. It does. Okay, so that will be removed. His model's out of here, and that's that. And I get 35 XP for that. So that will take care of his turn. Now I do get a loot card on top of that. I also am going to get, shuffle those up. So recovery, it's a D3, just 1, so that's not good. She's going to get D6, so that'll clear her off. And I don't have anything with him. I will get a grit for the loot card that I'm going to get, though. So let's see what we get here. So 1, 2, 3. This goes away. All right, so first off, I've got 20 XP and D3 Darkstone. So 3 more. Whew. Lots of Darkstone there. For Sloon Girl, I've got Blood Money, so D6, so she's going to get 150 gold for that, and 20 XP. And I get a artifact card. So Warp Generator. Once per adventure, do 2 wounds ignoring defense to every void and demon enemy on your map tile, or discard to overload, doing a peril die worth of wounds ignoring defense to each void and demon enemy on the entire board. Wow. All right, good thing I got a lot of strength, because those things are heavy. All right, and I get 20 XP. That will be on his stuff, and that will finish off loot. So it's just the Gunslinger that's got some wounds on him. I do have a couple of bandages, though, so hopefully I'll have a decent roll with that. And that is the end of the round. So starting a new round, Lantern check. And it's a pair of 4s, so that is an 8. Ooh, wait a minute. I think the Derelict Ship has a different combination here. So it still would have been an ambush attack for that one? All right, so this is a hull breach. So explosions rock the ship as the hull breach tears open nearby space. Select a random hero's map tile and a random exit on the map tile, either an open door or an end cap, to find the location of the hull breach. Reroll a new hero if no valid exits on the map tile. Roll a d6 to determine the size of the breach. Each hero is immediately pulled a number of spaces equal to the size of the breach along the shortest path towards it, starting with the hero closest to the breach. Every hero also takes a number of hits equal to the size of the breach. Any hero that is moved into the 2 spaces of the open door end cap is pulled through, taking 2d6 wounds, ignoring defense, before clawing their way back into the ship. The breach is then sealed by a force field. Woof. All right, so select a random hero's tile. I hope it's not the gunslinger. Whew. Actually, either way, it could be bad. All right. And it is the gunslinger. Okay, so it is that tile there. Okay, and then roll a d6. A 2, okay. Roll a d6 to determine the size of the breach, okay, and a random exit on the map tile. All right, so let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4 is over here. So the breach is going to open up over there, and it's going to move everybody 2 spaces towards it. Okay. Every hero also takes a number of hits equal to the size of the breach. So I stopped 1, so I'm going to take a wound. She takes 1, and he's going to take nothing. He blocks them both. Okay. And then I do have echoes or voices in the dark, so it's going to be the gunslinger. It suffers the effects of that. So 4, and he stops 2 of them, so he's going to take 2 sanity. Okay. Well, that was rough. So then that's going to be sealed now, so it just goes away. All right, he's got a movement of 6. Now the question is, he's got the best luck of any of us. So I will move here, but I'm still adjacent to the computer, and I'm going to go ahead and try to activate the computer. So I got a luck test of 4. I need at least 1 6. And I got it. Okay, so I have triggered that computer and turned that on. So I'm going to get 25 experience points for that. And that is going to end that. So I've got my first computer activated. Okay. And then it's going to be the Saloon Girl next. Correct die. All right, so 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. So she's going to look through. And because of that, she gets to roll. Nope, she does not find any good stuff. Okay, but she does find a cross passage. And I'm just going to close this off, as that is going to bump into that anyways if I try to go that way. These ones do not like to go together very well. All right, and that will move that forward. That is her turn. And finally over to the U.S. Marshal. He's going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. And sure. All right, I do find something, and I get to roll, and it is not a loot card, so I get to draw a scavenge card. Chilling Dread, so I have to draw a Growing Dread card. And I get 10 XP. Yeah, I don't know about those scavenge cards. They are not, they are not my friends. The loot deck, yes, absolutely. Scavenge deck, not so much. Okay, I do have to add a scavenge token. So I'll add that back here. And that is the end of the turn. So again, back to a lantern check. And we're good this time. And it's a soft 8. So back to the gunslinger. He rolls a 1, so I do get a grit. I am going to use a bandage token because he has a lot of wounds on him. And he gets 6 back. That was a huge help. So that is... He had 7 wounds on him, so that was a big bump. And he has +1 movement, so I am going to look through the darkness. And I get to roll a die, see if I get a loot. No, I do not. So, ship card, so it's a long passage. That's going to move that forward. Okay. So that's that one. Okay. Moving right along here. And that is the end of that. So then it is the gunslinger. Oh wait, no, it's back to her. I don't want to get too far out. He's still against both, so I could move her down here and explore one of these. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She gets to, nope, she does not find anything. And I have the other habitat ring. So I'll go ahead and slide this over and pull that. Nope, it's not that one. It's neither one of those. There it is. Okay. And that one is going to connect like this. Might be running out of space here, so I might have to condense stuff down. Okay, then I get to add a token. So that's only my 3rd token here. And that is her turn. So then over to U.S. Marshal. I don't want to spread out too much, so I'm going to start making my way back here. And I will go ahead and try to scavenge again. And I do find something. Let's see if I do not get to draw a loot card. So scavenge card is nothing's here. There's going to be a time when I do actually find something good out of that deck. And I'm going to be completely shocked. That is the end of his turn. He's too far away now, so because she's technically on this one, so well, and he's technically on that one, so I'm still okay. I'm just outside of it, or just inside of it. And we have, ugh. All right, so we do have Growing Dread card. And I think my heroes are going to spend grit to get rid of that. So everybody spent 1, and I'm going to get rid of that one. So I'm just going to remove it. For the time being, I do have an encounter, so there's that, and it is going to add another computer. So I have found my 2nd computer now. All right, so this one is a sealed bulkhead. So a hefty bulkhead door has been sealed here, blocking an exit into this room. Place a bulkhead end cap on one random exit in the room before any other doors are placed. And there's 2 doors, so technically there's all 3. So let's go ahead and handle that real quick. So 1 is going to be that one up there. So bulkhead is this. Okay. Any number of heroes may attempt to force the bulkhead open, making a strength 6+ test and adding all of the results together. If the heroes collectively roll a number of 6s equal to or greater than the number of heroes in the posse, the test is successful. Each hero that made the test gains 25 experience. Remove the bulkhead end cap, creating a new door. Roll a d6. Evil inside. Move the darkness d3 spaces forward on the depth track. On a 2, trapped enemies ambush attack. Draw a threat. And 3 through 6 is an untouched path. A new. The next time an exploration token is revealed, down this new path, every hero may also draw a loot card. Okay, so not terrible. And there's 2 other doors, and those are open based on this. So that is all of that. I found my last one, so I'm almost into the second part here, where the other presence in here is going to start coming out. All right, that is everything there. So on to a new lantern check. And it's a 7, so I'm holding strong. Over to the gunslinger. I am just within distance, so I'm okay there. So on his turn, he gets to move 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And he will go ahead and try to loot. Nope, or scavenge. He does not find anything. Or actually, I think I forgot with him that this place has been scavenged at this point. All right, so the Saloon Girl, I will... If I move off of that tile, then that's bad news. So I'm going to try to move down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I get to look through the door here. And do I find something good? No, I do not. All right, and a new door. So this is the medical bay. The medical bay looks like... Ooh, that one. Medical bay. Did I pass it up? That is the one that's all massacred. Whew. Definitely bad stuff happened in there. Okay, so I can slide that up a little bit. And it just barely fits. Okay, let's add an exploration token in there. So that's the sealed bulkhead for that one. And there are 2 exit points there. Yes. Okay. That will move us into the second part of this. So at this point now, I will add the rest of the enemies into the threat deck. So as they have become aware of our presence, we are diving into the ship and making too much noise. We'll see what happens with that if they come up. Okay, that was her turn, so now it is over to the U.S. Marshal. It is a 5, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to be adjacent to her. I will go ahead and kind of try to scavenge there, and I do find some stuff. Let me see if I get a loot card. I do not. Okay, so 2 scavenge cards. So we'll see if this is bad or not. And a pair of nothings. All right, I'll take it. 20 XP and no bad stuff. And I do get a grit because I successfully scavenged. So I would say that is pretty good. I'll take it. I'm not going to complain about that. That is going to finish off his turn. So that is going to be a new roll. And she is technically on this tile, which is adjacent to that one. So I'm still good for Voices in the Dark. And she does fail a test. So he is going to have to suffer that anyways, because he is pretty far out there. And it's 6 more. Ouch. All right, and I block 2, so I take 4. Oof, it's a good thing he's got a lot. Okay, that is that. And there was something else I needed to do. Oh, darkness card. Okay. Unspeakable evil lurks in the shadows that lie beyond the lighted gates. Ambush attack. 1 night terror or D3 night terrors if 5 or 6 characters. So I don't want to use the enemies from, well, a night terror, I guess. Yeah, I guess that'll work. That's all right. I can handle that. All right, so it's a random hero because it's an ambush attack. So we'll see where this pops up here. Ooh, and I forgot to do... Yeah, so let me do that real quick. So this one's first, and it's my 3rd computer room. So that actually works out pretty well. Okay. And it's encounter times 2. All right. And he's going to go after the gunslinger. Oof, all the way over here. Well, that works out because the gunslinger could probably take him out in one run. So we'll see how that works out for him. All right, so his initiative is 5, which is just fine. All right, and that is a darkness card. So the gunslinger is going to start us off. Well, technically, I do have to resolve this first. So I have 2 encounter cards. So first one is a damaged gravity plating. The gravity plating in this section of the ship seems to be malfunctioning. As you step into the room, the weightlessness sweeps you off your feet, and your stomach churns as you begin to float. While on this map tile, heroes are at -1 to hit for their attacks, and it costs heroes 3 movement to enter any space of this map tile. Ooh, it's going to take them a little while to get there. A hero starting its activation on a space touching a wall may make a free move D3 spaces in a straight line in any direction. Okay. Also roll a D6. On the roll of a 1 or 2, draw another encounter card. All right, so nope. Okay, so that is the effects in the room. And then I also have a repair drone. So small floating repair drones hover their way down the hall towards you. They seem to be automated, moving around the ship and repairing damaged systems. Maybe if you could get a closer look, you could find a way to influence which parts of the ship they are working on. So this is the cunning check, and it's a hero of my choice. So who has the best cunning? That's actually going to be the U.S. Marshal. So it's a 6+ if you are able to reset the drone's pathway to explore ahead and shore up the damaged bulkheads. The next time a hull breach depth event would be triggered, cancel that event. Okay, so let's see if I can pull it off. On a 6. And I've got all of that, so it looks like it's a fail. All right, I could spend a grit to reroll, but I think I'm okay for the moment. That's a pair of 4s as a hull breach. So yeah, I think I'll just let it go. Okay, so and then there's only 1 doorway out of here, so I'll just close up that one because that's gonna be problematic anyways. All right, then it is into combat. So the gunslinger can move up to 3 spaces, and I get an escape check, and I'm not going anywhere. Okay, so I will make my shots onto the Night Terror. All right, there's a 5, 7, 7, and 8. So 3 criticals so far. and a regular hit, and I still have 1 attack left. So the 3 crits I will roll for first, because they're going to bypass his defense. And that's 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. And then I get 1 more die. And it's another 7, so it's another crit. And that's a 6. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I didn't even need the last hit, and I just completely took this guy out on my own. So I get 10 points plus 5 for each wound, so I did 12. So that's going to get me 70 points. And I do have 3 10s, so that'll just be another 100. All right, and that might actually be enough to put him over. So let me see where that puts him. That is a second 5. So he is at 1,000. So the gunslinger can go up at any time that he would like. And that's another 100. So I'll go ahead and cash that in, and I'll get 105 back. All right. So we'll see. Right now I'm not doing too bad, so I don't know if I want to, I don't think I want to pop it just yet. All right, that's going to take him out. That means the other 2 recover D6, which is just her, pretty much, as he hasn't taken anything. And then we do get loot cards, so always good on the loot cards. All right, 1, 2, and 3. So first off, 25 gold, just a little find there, and 30 XP. So let's do that. The Saloon Girl is going to get 50 and 20. And U.S. Marshal is at 250 and 20 XP. He has gotten that one quite a few times. Okay, so there's that, and his great cash. Okay. That's going to take care of that. All right, that is the end of that round, so we're going to be starting a new one. And lantern check. And I am not good, so I'm going to fail again, so that's going to tick forward. And the gunslinger is going to suffer the effects again, so 4 more. And this time he's solid on all but 1. Okay. That is all of that. So then it's going to start off with his turn. That is going to move too, but I'm not going to move. I'm going to go ahead and do a luck check to try to power up that, or wait, no, that one was done. I do need to, I probably should mark that with something. So let's put a wound, or yeah, wound token on there to signify that one was done. So I get to move 3 spaces. 1, 2, and 3. And I could scavenge. I don't think I'm going to, though. I think I'm going to hold steady there. All right, so Saloon Girl is next for hers. Is a movement of 3, so she can move 1 space. She is next to a wall, though, so it lets me get a free D3 move in a straight line. So that's gonna, I'll send her down here, and she can move 1 more space with the 3 points. Or D3, let me see where, yep, so 2, so I'll be there. And with her, I will scavenge. And she doesn't find anything. All right, and then it is the U.S. Marshal. He has a movement of 4, so just 1 space, and he is adjacent to a wall. I'm not going to go in there. I'll let her do that one, and I'm going to head back. And I'm just going to kind of hold out here And that place has not been scavenged, so I will try it, and I do not find anything. That is the end of that turn, so a new lantern check. And I'm good this time on an 8. So Gunslinger is going to get a grit and get to move 2 spaces. So 1, 2. And he is too far away, so I do have to do that for his turn here. All right, so it was 1, and sanity. I do take a sanity from that. All right, that was Voices in the Dark because he was too far away. And he had to take it probably, yeah, I probably should do it one more time because I think he was in there one other turn. So 4, and I saved 2 more, so that puts me up to, where am I at now? I've got quite a few here. So that is 4, I'm at 10. So let's put 10 on there. And I have 6 more I can take, so if I get too much higher, I'm probably going to have to... Oh, and I forgot to take the from the Night Terror as well. Ugh, okay, I'm good there. All right, so now I should think I'm caught up, and I think I took care of all the issues there. Whoops. Okay, that is his turn. On to the Saloon Girl again. She's not really on a flat space, so she can move 6 spaces, so 2. So that'll put her there, and she can make a test to see if she can figure out the computer. And she does. All right, so that computer has been turned on. And at this point, when the second computer is turned on, and this is a custom scenario that I've made up, at the end of every round, the heroes are going to make a 2-die roll. And it's going to continually get harder and harder. So initially, it's going to be a 7+, and every round after that, it'll bump up. Now, once when they don't pass it, then that's going to generate some new enemies to come out, and it'll be randomized which hero is attacked, and then it'll be reset. So it's going to continue to go until something comes up, and then it'll pop back. All right, so that is that. And that's her turn, so then it is over to the U.S. Marshal. He rolled a 4. I don't really want to... I don't think I want to move right now, so I am going to try to scavenge, and I failed. So that is my turn. All right, so at the end of the round now, I will have the Gunslinger go, and it's a 7+ check, and he passes. So far so good. So at the end of the next round, it'll be 8 and 8 that is needed to pass. All right, so now we're at a new round with a lantern check, and it's a pair of 6s. Oh, that's different. Usually that's good. We'll see what happens with the Derelict Ship. So the hope for the future. Seeing how the technology is advanced gives you hope for humanity's future. Each hero may immediately heal 2d6 wounds / sanity, any mix, or cancel a darkness or growing dread card on a d6 roll of a 4+. KO'd heroes are immediately recovered. Rolling on their injury charts is normal, as usual. Okay, so with the Gunslinger, I'm going to go ahead and try to recover some sanity. And I get 5 back, so that's not bad. With the Saloon Girl, she is fully healed, so I'm going to try to cancel a darkness card, so she does so on a 4+. And she was able to do it, so this darkness card has been canceled. So that's pretty good. Or wait, a growing dread card. Darkness or growing dread. Okay. So, and then... there's nothing else for him to do, so I'll call it good. All right, that is that. So then it is over to the Gunslinger for movement. He gets a movement of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll keep making my way over there. They are an adjacent tile, so we're good with the Voices in the Dark currently. And then she's going to try to start making her way back. Oh, good. So she can move 2 spaces. So that'll get her there. She doesn't get the free move as she's not next to a wall yet. And then I I could try to scavenge. I don't know if that's smart or not. All right, so she does, and I do not get a loot card. So it's something shiny. Oh my goodness. This is the first time that I have had this card come up. So come on, something good. It's a 5, so I find a gear card. Holy smokes. That is a absolute first. So I get 10 points for that. And a gear card is going to get her 2 whiskey tokens. And she is maxed out, so I will pass those over to the U.S. Marshal, because he's maxed out as well. All right, so then I have to mark that room has been scavenged once so far. That is that. And that is her turn, so the U.S. Marshal's turn. And he rolls a 1. I am at max grit, and I'm not going to move, so that is going to end that. All right, so it's over to a check for enemies, 8+, and it fails. All right, so we're going to have a new group coming out here. And it's some Xenocyte Impalers. Hideous alien creatures, Xenocyte Impalers, infest areas of the ships, scurrying through the shadows and using the vents and corridors to spread their ever-growing brood. All right, so it's a peril die of Impalers, and it's going to be 4 of them. And these guys, let me tell you, they are nasty. So we'll see how this goes here. All right, and they're going to come out on a random heroes tile. So we'll do this. All right, it's the U.S. Marshal. And they are going to come out from the back here. So there's spots back there. There. It's hard to make out the spaces. We'll say that. And the Impalers, these guys have an initiative of 8. Whew. So the Gunslinger is the only one that can go before them, and he won't be able to get the extra die, so he'll only get 4 dice instead of the 5 in order to pull that off. So with this one, they have Wall Scurry, so models are moves through other models. They have Impaling Tail, so any hero that ends their movement adjacent to 1 or more Xeno Impalers must pass an agility check of a 5+ or gain a bleeding token. And they also have Shadow Dodge. This enemy is +1 defense against attacks for each space away from the attacker that it is for. So the farther away they are, the harder, the more defense that they have. So it's almost like you need crits to take these guys out in a way. Unless you're right on top of them, in which case then they're sticking you with your tails and everything else. Luckily, it's not an ambush attack. All right, so with that being said, I get my movement. All right, and I get a 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2. All right, so I think I can see those 3 at least. And that way that I'm not right on top of them. So we'll see how this goes. All right, I'm going to get my 4 dice because I'm just going to do the quick shots or the quick draw, but not the cool hands. All right, so I got a crit there and a crit there. This is a 1 and that's a 5. I don't know, should I? No, I think I'm good there. All right, so the 5 I'll do first. So I'll hit the guy that's right in front of me. So he's 1 space away from me. Enemy is +1 defense against attacks for each space away from the attacker. There it is. All right. So he's technically 1 space away, because if I was adjacent, then he'd be... You can't be any closer than that. So he's technically got a defense of 3. All right, so I rolled a 5, so I would do 2 to him. And I will add +2 to that, so that'll put it up to 4. Well, nah, I'll just do 2. All right, that is that. And then I have two crits. So against the one on the far side here, now I'll play the +2, so that'll take him out. And I'll fire one back on that guy there. And I get just 1 damage on him. I will spend a grit to reroll that. And it's a 5. All right, so I took him out as well. Okay, so at least those guys are gone. I get 50 XP for those 2. And that is my turn. So then the enemies are going to go. So they're going to randomize the heroes. They have a movement of 9, so they could get to anybody. All right, so the first one is the gunslinger. So he's going to make his way around, and he can get there because he can move through walls. And then the other one is going to go after the saloon girl. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. As they try to get around the back ends. All right, so against the gunslinger, they have a combat of 3, and they hit on 3s. So all 3 hits. The gunslinger stops all 3. Holy cow. Heavy defense on that one. That was huge because they do, the impalers do 3 damage to every one of those hits. So that would have been 9 wounds if I wouldn't have defended that. That's impressive. And onto the saloon girl. It looks like all 3 are misses. So I guess she was moving around enough that she was able to block that. All right, so then it's going to be her turn. So movement is a 5, but in order to take this guy out, I do need to be adjacent to him. Or I could move, I could just keep moving. I do have to escape 4+, so let's see if I even have the choice to. I do not, so I'm going to have to stay there. So I have to make an agility check. So I have an agility of 4. I need at least 1 5. And I got 2 5s. All right, so I don't get impaled. So I was able to block that. And then my attack against him is 1, and I do get 2 rerolls because of my combat knives. So 3 hits. None of them are crits. So I'll just roll all 3 against him. And so that's a 2. This is going to be a 4 because of my +1, and that's a 5. And then he has 2 defense, so he's going to take that away. This one's going to drop to 3, and this one drops to 2. So that is 5 wounds. That will be enough to take him out. Okay. And so I'll get 25 experience points for that. And then over to the U.S. Marshal. And I've got a movement of 6. I'm pretty good where I'm at, so I'm just going to take my shotgun shots, as I have the distance. I have a 1 and a 6, so it's a crit. He's almost dead as it is, so I'll just roll the wound. And it's 4 wounds that will take him out. Okay, so that will get me 25. And I do get a grit back, but I'm at max, so I don't know why I rolled that. All right, and those guys are gone. And then I do get a loot card. So first off, Gunslinger is blood money, D6 times 25. So I get 50 and 20 XP. On to the Saloon Girl. She has 100 coins and 20 XP. So I'll do 50 instead from that. And she's got to be getting close too. Let me go ahead and consolidate real quick. So that's 75 as 105. So it's going to give her another one. And this is 100 as well. And there's 3, yep. So that is 500 for her, so she's well over as well, so she can level up at any time. It might be worth to do it with her, because, I mean, she hasn't taken any damage as of yet. And we're getting close here. And I've got 30 there. So there's 50, 60, 70. It's another 100 for him. And there's another 50. So I can convert that up. All right, so that puts me at 945. All right, so he's close, not too far off. And he does get a Darkstone. Okay, that is all of that. Okay. Then it is, we get recovery, so D3, so 2 off of that. I'll heal 1 and 1, so I'll back to 4 there. And neither one of them have taken anything, so we're good on those. All right, then it is a check for enemies, as this is always going to happen. And I'm good on an 8. So new round with a lantern check. And it's a fail. All right, so I get another darkness card. So this one is Power of the Void. All void enemies are now +1 combat, remains in play. Okay. Then it's over to the Gunslinger. All right, he has a movement of 6. So he could get in there and try to handle that last one there. Hopefully she can get back so that I don't take a test, but I think I'm going to do it. 2, 3. So I'm going to just go there. And my luck is 4, so let's see if I can pull this off here. And I do. All right, so that is the third and final computer. So when the third computer is found, one of the one of the open spaces in that room, the other ones will close off. So we'll say that it's this space here. And so that is going to open up the portal room. So let's see. Okay. And I'll just take this one away so that I can slide this over. All right, so the portal room is open now. And that's our way out. That was his turn. Over to the Saloon Girl. She gets to move 2, so she gets to move 1 space, and then she gets D3 in a straight line. So 3, 1, 2, and that's pretty much gonna, I think she'd probably have to stop there because technically she's like using anti-gravity to go, and that's going to be the last space of that room. So I'm going to go ahead and say that she has to stop there. And then she'll go ahead and do a scavenge, as that room still has a scavenge that can be done. Okay, so she does find something. Rolls a d6. Nope. So she does have to pull a card. And I'll place a second scavenge token in there. So that room's fully scavenged. And something shiny. Okay. 2 times in a row. And it's a 2, so it's just a Darkstone. I will take it. I'm not going to complain about that. That is going to be her turn, so then it's over to the U.S. Marshal to go. And I think with him, I just need to keep moving at this point. So he gets movement of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I could scavenge that room. I'm at max grit though. Well, why not? And I do find something. All right, so then I roll to see if I get loot. And I do. Sweet. And I found 50 cash and 20 XP. And I have to scavenge token that space. That's the first. All right, that is the end of his turn. So now we are at the enemy check. So now I need an A+, and that is going to generate some new enemies. We have some more of those little guys. And it's 4 more of them that are going to pop up. All right, and we have to determine where they're coming out at, or which hero. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. And it is the Saloon Girl. So they're going to come on back here, which isn't terrible. So the Gunslinger can go back and give her a hand. So I'll pull their card back out. Yes, he is the only one that's going to be able to go. We'll start with a lantern check. And it's a 6, so that is a fail. That means that the U.S. Marshal will have to do a test. 2. He passes 1, so he will take 1 sanity from that. And then now we're into player turn. So Gunslinger, he gets to move 6. So he's going to come back 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to go there so he can have shots on everybody. I will do the same thing again, so I'll just get the 4 shots. All right, so there's a crit there. And these 2 considered hits. This one is a miss. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'll let it stand. All right, so these 2 are going to go off. These are regular hits. I will go against that guy, so it's going to give him a defense of 3. A 6 and a 4. So that would do 1 damage and 3 damage. So I will spend a token to finish him off. So that's going to take him out. And then I do get 1 that I'll target on the ferry back, which is going to do 4, and I'll spend another token to bump that up. So that'll finish him off. So I get 50 points for that. For those 2 kills, and that's going to finish off his turn. Then the enemies are going to go, so they get to see who they're going after here. First one goes after the Gunslinger, so he is the closest. And second one is the U.S. Marshal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's going to kick all the way back there. All right, then they attack. So it's going to be 3 combat dice against the Gunslinger, and 2 miss, 1 hits. So Gunslinger on defense is going to take 3 wounds. And the same thing against the U.S. Marshal. 2 hits on the U.S. Marshal. And I block 1. So I'm going to take 3 on the U.S. Marshal as well. All right, that is all of that. So then it's going to be the Saloon Girl. All right, so 3, I will try to escape. And she is able to do so, so she's going to move 1, 2 to go there, and then she'll attack, so she has to make an agility check of 5+, and I'm good by just a little bit. And then I'm going to attack him, so 3 dice on 4s. I get 2 rerolls because of my combat knives. So 2 regular hits. And I get 3 on each of them. So that would not kill him at all. So I will spend a grit to re-roll those. So I need more than 2s. All right, so that one's a 6 and this one's a 3. So this one becomes a 1 and this one becomes a 4. So that is going to be enough to kill him. I get to roll. I do not get the grit back. And that will take him out. And I get 25 for that one. So that is her turn. And then it's over to the U.S. Marshal. He rolled a 2. I will try to move. I am not going to be able to move. I get my shotgun. A 7 and a 5. So the 7 is a crit. So first off, I'll just do that one because it might finish it off here. So 4. And the 5 is going to do 5 points of damage minus his defense, so that will finish him off. All right, I don't need to roll for the grit because it doesn't matter. And I get 25 there. All right, that is all of that. Then loot. So 1, 2, and 3. Take these guys out. Draw an artifact card or a gear card if in other world. So gear card. So we have the Silver Buckle. Law or Showman, and he is a showman. So anytime you kill an enemy, you may heal 1 wound or 1 sanity. That's awesome. Very helpful there. And 20 XP. To the Saloon Girl, she gets 50. And 20 XP. That one's stuck. There's that. And I'll just drop another 5 in there to give me 25. And the final one is an artifact card. Okay. So I get 20 for that. And an artifact card. So I have a vac suit, so you gain +2 sanity. Oh, I definitely need that. Endurance 4. You do not take more than 4 wounds from a single hit, or you are immune to space effects. Okay, interesting. And my strength is +1 strength, so I can have 8 total. So I have 2 armor there. I have 1 anvil there. 1 there, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I am at max, but I have not gone over yet. So I will go ahead and add that to the back there. So I'm +2 sanity. So I'll take that away for the moment. So I'm back to 10. So that's a plus. All right, that is everything. And I think I gave him the thing with that. So, and then I have recovery. So just 1. I will take away 1 health. With Slim Girl, she doesn't have anything, and the U.S. Marshal, he gets 2 off. So I'll take 2 off the health. So that will be everything there. And then from there, then we're on to end of round stuff. So we will see if a new group of enemies comes out. And they do. Oh, so we get some Xenocyte Devourers. And it's going to be D3. So 2 of them. These guys are nasty. Okay, so this is the last brand new enemy type, so we'll see how this goes. And I have to determine who they're coming out to. I gotta keep trying to make my way over there, hopefully. And it's going to be the gunslinger. So one there and one there. Okay. Pull their card. So these guys are initiative 4. And it wasn't an ambush, so at least both of them are going to go before these guys. But these guys are brutal. So they have the Devouring Maw. It has a cover of 6+. Whenever a cover save is successful against a hit from an adjacent attacker, the hero must pass a Strength 5 test or choose and discard one item they have equipped in one of their hand slots. They have hooked tendrils. At the start of this enemy group's activation, all heroes on the same or adjacent map tile within line of sight are moved 2 spaces towards the nearest Xenocyte Devourer, unless already adjacent, and they have tough, so they are immune to critical hits. Ooh, absolutely brutal. And they have 14 health. These guys are nasty. So we'll have to see if I can take these guys down. All right, so on to that. So a pair of 5s. So that is going to be Echoes of Death. A wave of pure terror washes over you, fluttering flashes of nightmares in your mind. Each hero takes d6 horror hits. If the total sanity damage taken is equal to or greater than the number of heroes in the posse, add a Growing Dread card to the stack. Oof. All right, so d6 horror hits is just 1. And I do fail that, so that's going to be 1. That is his. Then it is over to her. 3. And she takes all 3. So, yep, there's a Growing Dread card that's going to be added. Okay, and over to him. Just 1. And he actually passes, so 1 out of 5. And what is the determination there? If the total sanity damage taken is equal to or greater than the number of heroes in the posse. So, yeah, because she took all 3. And she has no, grit to reroll. So we are going to add a Growing Dread card. And we're about ready to add another one here once I go up again. So, all right, we are into combat. So it is going to be the Gunslinger's turn first. They are initiative 4, so I could do both things. But I think before I do that at this point, I think it might be worth leveling up. So I think I will do that. So I'm going to go ahead and spend the 1,000 points to do so. And then I get to do a roll on the chart. It's an 11. Ooh, that could be pretty good. So with the Gunslinger, see the back. Okay. So on an 11, I add d6 health. So I add 5 health to that. So that's good. So I'll just tack a die on there for the moment. And I'll get a token for that in a little bit. All right, and then I get to choose an ability. So I have Cool Hand, so I could take Through Shot. So anytime you kill an enemy with a handgun, you may immediately do d6 damage to another enemy in one of 3 adjacent spaces behind it. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So I'm going to take Through Shot for him. All right, so that will take care of him. So now he is level 3. And then I do get to recover everything. So I remove all sanity and wounds, and I gain a grit. Okay. And I get 5 dice. I got a 7, a 7, a 4, a 1. And I get to roll another die. So this is my 5th die and a 3. So I got 3, or I got 2 crits and 2 hits. So on the 2 hits against the, I'll do the one in the front just in case I'm able to bring him down. All right, so the first hit does 3 wounds to him. So that's pretty good. And the second one, his defense takes care of. All right, and then I got the 2 crits, so I'll go ahead and do those. 5 and a 4, so that's 9. So that would put him up to 12. So I am going to spend my last token to finish him off. So that'll do 14 to him. So that's going to take him out. So that is 80 points. So I'll cash in 2 10s for 100. And then because I killed him, I do D6 wounds to the guy behind. And I will spend a grit to reroll that for 3 damage. So 3 damage on the guy behind. So that's good. And that will take care of that. All right, so I was able to do some looking because I did want to get a better understanding of cover. And I also remembered that these guys are tough, so they're going to avoid critical. So I am going to pull the 2 damage token back. And I originally had done 9 points of damage to him. So that is going to be reduced by 3 for each of those. So I ended up doing 5, or I would have done 4 wounds from that. So he has 7 on him currently. So I did not kill him, but he did some. So I did some damage. All right, so that is going to be the gunslinger's turn. Now, the saloon girl will be next. Now, the important thing is with cover, his devouring maw is going to provide that. So with cover, anytime I roll and I'm adjacent to him, for every hit that I roll, or successful hit, then he's going to get to make a cover save. If he rolls a 6, then I have to make a strength check, or I have to lose one of my weapons that I have in my hand. So this is risky, and I'm not sure if I should do it or not with the saloon girl. But she is one of my more powerful characters, so I kind of need her to get in there and do some damage before these guys roll in and attack, because they're gonna do some nasty stuff too. So first off, I got to determine her movement, and I got a grit, so I guess that's good. And I could get up in there and hit him. If I could take him out, that'd be a huge thing. So I will move adjacent to him. I'm going to risk it, and I get to roll 3 dice. None of them hit, so I'm going to get 2. All right, so 1 hit. He rolls his die. He rolls a 2, so nothing there. And then I roll for damage. I do 6 damage, so it's going to be 3 because of his toughness. So that's going to put him up to 10. And then I do have my little standoff pistol, or I do have Blackstone Shiv, which might be very useful at this point. So let me find that real quick. That was the blacksmith. I think, nope, general store. All right, I know it's on the back of the rulebook here. All right, so Darkstone Shiv, performer only, free attack. Okay, so I could either do the pistol or this. Discard to do D6 wounds to adjacent enemy, ignoring defense. So the Shiv is immune to, I think the Shiv is different than a critical. So if I get a 4 or better, I could kill him outright. So yeah, I'll go ahead and discard one to go ahead and do that. And it's a 5. That is going to take him out. So now he has been defeated. So I do have to pull some experience back as well. So I did 7. So I get 10 plus 35. So that's going to be 45 instead of the 80 that I got. So I'll pull back that. All right, and then she finished him off with an additional 45. So she gets that. And I'm not going to go up with her just yet. So that is her turn. So now they are going to get to go. So I have to determine. So first off, they have the hooked tendrils. So at the start of this enemy group's activation, all heroes on the same tile and adjacent tiles in line of sight are moved 2 spaces toward it. Okay. All right, so she moves 1, 2. So she's going to be adjacent to him. And so is he. He is not going to be affected as he is not in line of sight. Okay, and then it's going to attack. So it's got a combat of 4. I have to determine who it's going to hit. So it's going to be between the gunslinger and the showgirl, or the saloon girl. Saloon girl will be fantastic at this point because she still can level up. And it is the saloon girl. Awesome. So she's going to have 4 dice coming her way. He hits on 3s. And so that's going to be 3 hits. She gets her defense. And she blocks 2 of them. So she's going to take 3 damage from that. Okay. So that's that. And then it's going to be over to U.S. Marshal for 5. 1, 2, 3. I'll go over 1 more. So that should be enough. I do have line of sight to him now. And I'm 1, 2, 3 spaces away, so I have range to him. So my shotgun is going to be 1 hit and 7 for wounds. He does block 3 though, so that is going to do 4 to him. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And I did not get anything else, so that will take care of that. All right. And I did 4 to him, so I'm going to get 30 points for that. That is the end of the round. So starting a new round, Lantern check is a 3, so that is going to fail. So that's going to add another darkness or growing dread card. And he's going to have to take the Voices in the Dark check, so 3. And he fails all 3 of them. That's not a good way to start us off. All right. So that was that. That almost was a catastrophic fail there. The gunslinger is going to start his turn. So I have a movement of 3. I do have to try to escape. And he fails. So the question is, do I try to take the shots? Especially with the judge. I really don't want to lose the judge. Okay. I will... I think I'm going to pass. So I'm going to move over to the saloon girl. She can do that. I'm not going to move, so 3 dice. She got 1 hit. These 2 get rerolled. So 2 hits. It gets 2 dice. It does take one of her weapons. Damn it. All right, so save successful. Okay, so I can still make this. I have to pass a strength 5 check. All right, I can spend a grit to reroll it. Nope. All right, so I do lose one of my hunting knives, so I am down by 1. All right, so but I do, the other attack goes through, and it's a 2. He did have a stun token on him, because I did with the shotgun. So his defense is 2 currently, so I do 1 wound to him, so that's going to get me 15 experience points. So I'm going to have to go and buy another hunting knife now, unfortunately. And that's everything that she can do. So he is still on her, so he's going to attack her. All right, and he hits her for all of them. So she's got 4 coming her way, and she blocks all of them as well. So she's holding strong. And he pulls us all in. 1, 2, and then I do have to roll for that. So any model with 1 or more stun markers on them is -1 defense. At the start of the model's activation, roll a d6. On a 4+, the model removes 1. Okay, so it's still got 1 on there. So then it is over to my turn. I am at that point there, and I'm going to take some shots. And that's an 8 and a 3. I will spend the grit to re-roll the 3. And it's a 2, so it still fails. So just the 8. And it's a 2. Spend a grit. Bumps it up to a 5. So it's going to do 3 more damage to him. Okay. And that gets me 25 experience points. All right. And that is the end of that. So it is back to a lantern check. And I failed that one as well. So again, he's going to take the darkness. And it's 2. And I passed 1, so I take 1. Okay, so that's that. And then it is back to us, so it's a 4, and can I break away? And I can. All right, so I'm going to back off. 1, 2, and then I get 3 shots, and I'm hitting on 3s. I hit 2 of them. Okay. So he's still -1. And of course I roll absolutely terrible. So I'm going to try it again. And 2 and 3. So I do 1 damage to him. So I get 15 experience points for that. All right. That is the gunslinger. Over to the saloon girl. She got a 2. I'm not going to try to break away. She's only going to get 2 combat dice now because she lost her other knife. I do get to reroll 1. All right, and then he gets his rolls. And he rolled it again. All right, she might lose her other combat knife here. Nope, I held on to it this time. All right, so damage. That will be a 3 and a 5. And then he drops each by 2, so that's 1 and 3, so 4 damage to him. And he currently is at, there's 5 and 4, so he's got 1 health left. So she's going to go ahead and use her holdout pistol. It's a hit. That's still technically a thing. He rolls a 5, so he does not get the cover. And it's a 4-point damage, and so that'll be enough to take him out. All right, so she gets that. She did, what, 4 plus so 5 points of damage total. So that's 35 XP. Okay, that finishes him off for the moment. Now we got to haul butt out of here. All right, and then you get to recover D6, just 1. And the other 2 get to recover D3, plus 1, so she gets 4 back. So she's holding strong. He's got to be getting close to going up now. I'm at, there's another 100. And that puts him at, that is enough. Okay. So all of them are going to get to go up at some point here. And that is going to, we got what, 50 there? Yep. So we get our loot cards. All right, so there is 100 gold. And 20 XP. She gets 250. Okay, so she got the big haul this time. $20. And over to, and he gets a gear card. All right, he has a Crisp Rose. So this is a performer or showman attached to an item. Anytime you roll a natural 6 or move, for a move, you get to recover a grit. Okay, so I will just hold on to that for the moment. And I got to get that over to her, as that's going to benefit her quite a bit. She has to attach it to an item, though. So I'll have to figure out what to attach it to. Oh, and she took him out, so she gets to roll. And she does not get a grit back. Okay. New round, holding back the darkness. And we're good. Whew. Okay, and then it is, oh, I forgot to roll for monsters. And we're solid. Okay, good. From last turn. So movement is a 1, so he gets a grit. He gets to move 2. So I'll go there. And I'm good with that. Saloon Girl is going to get movement of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And sure, she'll try to scavenge. She does find a couple of things. And does she get a loot card? She does not. Okay, so that is going to be the second scavenge on that space. And 2 scavenge cards. So nothing. And 25 gold. So 20 XP. And 25 gold. That is her turn. Onto him. He gets a grit back. Oh, and he had a grit back from the loot card. So I get to move 1 space. I'll go ahead and try to scavenge. Nothing. All right, that's the end of the round. So again, enemy check. And there's a new group of enemies. This is not good. We're just finding enemies everywhere. All right, so we've got another Impaler group. And it's going to be 3 this time, so not terrible. Found a small group of them. And they are going to show up on the Saloon Grills tile. All right, so they're going to come on in down here. It's just going to be 3 of them. So 1, 2, really hard to tell the lines on these. Okay, I think we're good there. Back to these guys, and they're initiative 8, so it's going to be Gunslinger first. Oh, we got Lantern check. Oh, man, painful. All right, so Overwhelming Dread, add a Growing Dread card to the stack. Here I was thinking I was doing well controlling that, and all of a sudden now I've got 3 Growing Dread cards in that pile, and she has no grits right now. Okay, so that being said, we need to get the heck out of here. So he's got a movement of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, that's pretty much gives him line of sight to everything. He's going to get 4 shots. 6, 8, and 7. All right, so we got 3 crits. That might be enough to do it. All right, so first crit on the one in the far back, and that's going to kill him. 1 on the next one, that's going to take him out, and 1 on the third one. And that is going to do 4 to him. And then the last one does have 1, 2. All right, so that will take him out. So he was able to walk in there and just blast away. So that's going to give him 75 experience points. Okay. And that means the other 2 are going to recover all their D6 of their stuff. She's going to completely recover. And he just continues to roll absolutely terribly. We'll take away sanity. Okay. We get a loot card. So I guess that's the one good thing about this, is we're just doing good on loot. Okay, so we've got 30 XP there. And I get a Darkstone. There's going to be a lot of checks on Darkstone. She's going to get an artifact card. So she has a Work Light. You take 2 fewer horror hits when hearing voices in the dark. Once per venture, you may prevent the darkness from moving on the depth track on the D6 roll of a 3+. Okay. All right, so I actually can carry it now because I lost the knife. And she gets 20 for that. And then finally, I got 250 and... All right, so I think I have another 250 in here. Yep. All right, that's... There we go. There's that. And I will collect these. So moving back in, my memory card ran out, so I had to switch them out. So I had to take things back a couple of steps. So we're back, and is the end of the round. I had defeated those Xenocyte Impalers and ready to move on with the new darkness check. So let's go ahead and start off with a roll. And it's a 9, so we are solid. All right, so then it is the Gunslinger's turn. So with the Gunslinger, he gets a grit back, and he gets to move 2 spaces. Well, those other guys are pretty far back, so I'm just going to move forward 1, and that has already been scavenged. So I'm going to hold there for the round. Then it is the Saloon Girl. She gets to move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's nothing else for her to do. She could level up. She hasn't taken any wounds yet, so I think I'm going to hold for now because this final battle could be pretty bad potentially going into this final room. So let's find out what happens first. So I'm going to go ahead and move with my other guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so we're all around. Saloon Girl will heal the U.S. Marshal by 1, so I'll take 1 off his hit points. And she's going to get 5 points for that. All right, that is the end of the round. So we do have a new roll for enemies. We're at 7, and we are solid. Okay, then it is a lantern check to start a new round. And a pair of 5s. Okay, so with the pair of 5s, it is Echoes of Death. So each hero takes d6 horror hits. If the total sanity taken is equal to or greater than the number of heroes in the posse, then the Growing Dread card is added to the stack. All right, so let's find out what happens with that. 5. Well, geez. He pretty much took care of it all in one shot there. All right, so he took 4, and that's going to add a Growing Dread card to the stack. Then it is over to her. All right, 3. She takes 1. And over to the U.S. Marshal. He takes 3 as well on 4s. He blocks all of them. All right, so he's solid. So other than the Gunslinger, it wouldn't have been so bad. Okay, then it is, so that was the lantern check, so it's into our turns. So with that being said, I'm going to move 5. 1, 2, 3, and as soon as I cross that threshold, the final room, we have the portal, we're getting ready to go back, and unfortunately, there are some enemies waiting for us. So we're going to have 3 Devourers we're going to have to handle. These guys, as you saw earlier, are disgusting. So I'm going to have to take them down. And these tiles are hard to tell. All right, so with that out of the way, it continues on. So with that, I will go ahead and go. I'm thinking about popping that Marshal badge. I think so. All right, so with that, it says once per adventure, give all heroes +2 shots with a gun or +2 combat if they choose during their next activation. All right, so that means that my Gunslinger is going to have quite a bit. So he will have his 3 from his judge, and he'll get 1 for the quick draw. I'm going to go ahead and drop by 3 initiative to get another 1, and then I'm getting 2 more from that, so that's going to put me up to 7. So I'm almost at the max that you can possibly roll, which is 8 dice. All right, so 7 dice, here we go. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can actually target all 3 of them. So first 4 are, so that's 3 hits. And second, too many. Well, they were all hits, so. All right, so that's 6 successful hits. Criticals don't matter because they are immune to them. So 6 hits. I will try my first 3 on, these guys have a defense of, yeah, so I'm going to just go ahead and dump all 6 into him and hope for the best. That way, then, if I do horribly, I can re-roll these. All right. So 5's not bad. The rest of these would all be blocked almost. So I'm going to spend a grit to re-roll some of those, or all of them. All right, that's a little better. So there's that. There's 2 4s. All right, and the 1's a dud. All right, so everything gets shaved by 3. So these will do 1 damage apiece for 2, and these will do 2 damage apiece. That'll be 8 damage total, and I'll bump one of those up by 2 for 10 damage. So almost got him in one shot. And 10 damage is going to get me 60 points. Okay. So that is the Gunslinger. I don't think I have anything else. I do have the... Oh, wait, no, that's another guy. All right, so that's not gonna... Yeah, that's not gonna help me. And they are initiative 4, so then it is the Saloon Girl next. So rolling for movement. She gets a grit. All right, and then I'm going to spend that to move again. So that's going to get me 7 points of movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll get you right on in there. All right, and so she's going to get 2 for her combat plus the 2 bonus from the badge. And I get to reroll 1 of them. All right, so I failed 2. All right, so that's 2 hits. Question is, do I reroll those or not? I don't think so. So he has his Devouring Maw and no 6s. All right, so that's good. I don't lose my knife yet. And then her rolls for wounds. I've done 10 to him. So I'm going to go on the guy that's wounded. All right, that's a 1, and I'll throw this on him as well. That's a crack. All right, so that's a 5. So I could re-roll the 1. Yeah, no. No, I'm not going to re-roll 1. All right, so I'm going to do 2 damage there, and I will use the Darkstone Shiv, which is going to do d6 wounds. I will roll a grit for that. I needed... Oh, okay. Well, I guess I should have just stuck with it. So that's 3 more wounds on him. So that will not kill him. So they're going to be able to get their full complement of attacks. And I don't even know what I'm looking for here. Okay. I do have the amulets. So once per adventure, add an extra d6 damage. All right, there we go. Okay, so that will take him down, and I do need experience for that. So that was 4, so that's going to be 30 points. Okay, so at least I have that. I'll flip that over so I don't forget that I've used it. Okay, and with me killing him, I get to roll, and I get a grit back. Okay. And I forgot to do Growing Dread, so let me handle that before I continue on, because that's going to make a difference here. So we have Dread. You shudder to think of what lies before you. Move the darkness 1 step forward on the darkness track. Okay, so that's there. Next is a Void Surge. So all heroes immediately take 1 corruption hit for each Darkstone they are carrying, including Darkstone icons on items. All right, so he's got a whole mess. So I'll roll for that first. All right, he takes 2 with that, and then I do have the Occult Book. Nope, that's not, but that is. Okay, so I take 2 corruption, so that puts me up to 3 for him. And then there's no other effect with that. She has 3. And does she have anything else? I don't think so. That's the Lantern. Okay. So just the 3. She's going to take 2 corruption. And over to U.S. Marshal, he's got 2. And he takes 2. It's good to see my heroes can roll well. All right, that is that one. This is going to move it forward 1 step on the darkness track, so we are all even there. That's going to have a darkness card being pulled out. And this one is for the remainder of this adventure, all enemies do +1 damage on every hit. So that bumps their damage up to 4 per hit. Oof. All right, so we'll see how that goes. And the darkness card is Power of the Void. Luckily, these are not void monsters. Otherwise, they would be rolling 2 additional combat, or get 2 additional bumps in combat. All right, so I'll toss those over there. All right, so now the enemies are going to go. So each one is going to determine a target. They have a movement of 4, so the U.S. Marshal's out of this one. All right, so the first guy there that's in contact with, or actually, they're going to pull them each 2 spaces closer. And she's already in contact, so now 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, he's still a little too far out. All right, so first guy is going after the gunslinger. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Second one is the saloon girl. So he's already there. And third and final one is Saloon Girl. So he just moves up 1. And it's going to hit her. Okay. And then they attack. So at this point, they're doing an additional damage for each. So first guy is on the gunslinger. That's going to be a crack. All right, so 4 hits. And I block 1 of them. So I'm going to take 12 damage. So that almost takes me out. I have 3 hit points left. Whew. Hit me like a ton of bricks. And then the other 2 are going to go after her. That's luckily a lot of misses. All right, so just 3 on her. That's still a lot of damage, though, if she doesn't block any of this. And she only blocks 1, so it's 8 damage. I am going to spend the grit to reroll those 2. That's a little better at all of them blocked. Okay. All right, that is her. That is their turn. So over to the U.S. Marshal. All right, he gets to move 5. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go there. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I got range to them, but I'm not going to be super close to them. All right, so with the shotgun, I get 2 shots normally, but I get 2 additional shots because of my thing here. Okay. All right, that's 2. That one's cracked. So 3 fails out of that. I will spend a grit to reroll. So I got 1 hit so far. 7, 7, and 2. All right, so 3 out of the 4 hits. And I'll go after the one that's going after the saloon girl there. Or wait a minute, was I... Where's all the damage? I think I forgot to pull one off. Because I'm pretty sure I took one down. Yeah, because he put, yeah, and then she did. Yeah, because she had to use all her stuff, so yeah, she did finish him off. All right, so the 3 on the guy there. And not so good. I will spend a grit to reroll these 2, because otherwise they're going to be misses. And they're not much better. All right, so he's got a defense of 3, so I do 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. So 4 damage on that guy. And what else do I want to do here? There was something else I was thinking of. And I did not kill anybody, so I'm not going to get anything back for that. All right, so I guess that is my turn. All right, that is the round. So it's a lantern check to start a new round. And we're at 9, so solid there. Gunslinger is going to roll for movement, and I'm going to try to break away. And I do break away. Okay, so that's good. I get 3 shots, and I will move back 1. And nobody was adjacent to anybody, so that's that. All right, so I've got 3 on 3s. 3 hits. All right, that's pretty good. I have no grit for any re-rolls, so it's just going to be damage here. Oh, and I did stun him. So he is -1 defense, and his defense is 2 currently, so that's at least something. All right, so that's not too bad. So 1, 3, 6 damage. 6 damage on him, and he's got 4 currently, so that's going to bump him up to 10. And 6 is going to get me 40 points. Okay. And then it is the Saloon Girl's turn. I am going to go ahead and attack. Movement first. 3, and I'll try to move away. I can. All right. I don't know if I can get around to go after that other guy. I'm going to say probably not. The way I'm angled. So I'm going to go after the one that's in front of me. And that's 1 success. He does have his... Well, all right, so nothing there. And roll for damage. All right, so 5 + 1 for 6. I'm going to do 3 damage to him. All right, that's going to get me 20 experience points. All right, that is her turn. Now it is over to them. So this guy broke away, so he's going to choose a new target, which could be any of them. And it's the U.S. Marshal, so he's going to move over there and attack the U.S. Marshal. And stun, is it at the beginning or at the end? Any model with 1 or more stun markers, -1 defense at the start of the model's activation. And it does get rid of it. Okay. So that is that, and then it's going to attack. So 4 dice on the U.S. Marshal, and it is 3 hits. So he's going to get 3, and he takes 8. So that puts him up to 10 wounds. So he's almost out. Luckily, I can level up. All right, that is that one. So then the other one is still on the girl. All right, and it only hits with 2. So she gets her defense. She blocks 1, so she's going to take 4. Okay. And then it is the U.S. Marshal's turn. So first movement, and I'm going to try to break away. And I cannot. And I don't know if I want to risk my shotgun. I do have 3 dice for strength, or 2 dice for strength. I should probably level up first. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to spend the points to level up. So I have to roll first off on my chart. That's 8. So for the U.S. Marshal, an 8 is going to get me +1 lore or luck. And I also get D6 health or sanity, any mix. Lore, well, he's got good lore. All right, so I'm going to go with luck. So I'm +1 luck. So I'll have to mark that. So I'll do that. And then I get D6. So I get 3 more. I will take it. my sanity's doing better, so I will take it on the health. So I'm going to be at 15 health now. I do get to recover all of this, and I will get a grit. And then for that, I am going to... I'm going to take no shame in it. So once per turn, I may take a corruption hit to use a Darkstone in place of grit. And I get +1 strength. So I'm at strength 3 now. So he's got a cover save of 6. That gets a 5+ check on 3 dice. That's pretty solid. I'm going to risk it. All right, so shooting him in the face is a 7 and a 1. I'll spend it for that, and it doesn't help me. All right, the 7 for damage is 2. Oh, wait, I gotta do the roll. All right, so he does not eat that, so I'm gonna spend my last grit and hope for a better roll. 5, so it's gonna put 2 more damage on him. So it doesn't kill him. Almost. And it does stun him again. All right, that is the end of the round. So new round. And that's an 8. So we're good there. Gunslinger has a 1, so he gets a grit back. I am not going to move. I will hold there. I get 3 shots. I'm going to see what happens with this. And there are 3 hits on 3s. Oh, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be using the other things. It doesn't matter. I got them. So let's do... I'll do it one at a time. So on this guy, there's a 1, so he blocks it. Second shot is a 6. That's going to do 3 damage. That will take him out. Okay. Anytime you kill an enemy, you may heal 1 wound or sanity. So I'll heal a wound. And I'm not sure why those are out there. And then the final one, I will go on to the last guy. And it's a 5, so I do 2 wounds to him. So that puts him up to 5. Okay. And that gets me 35 points. Okay. Then it's over to the saloon girl, so I am going to level up her as well. So there's her 1,000. That is going to heal her, all her wounds and everything. And I'll get a grit out of that. And with the saloon girl, I get to roll. It's a 3. 3. What's a 3? So on a 3, that is going to be +1 initiative. All right, so she's up to 6. Okay, I'll take that. Oh, I forgot to choose what her ability is going to be. And so, all right, so she has Spunky, so I could do Rough and Tumble. You may now use any handgun, not just guns with the keyword light, and then gives her +3 health. No, use 1 grit to ready. All right, so I guess I'll do the spinning kick, so that's going to be fighting. So this one lets me do a free attack. Once per turn, use 1 grit to do 2 wounds to an adjacent enemy, ignoring defense, and move them up to 2 spaces unless they are large or bigger. So these guys are considered large, and it gives me +1 strength. So that'll bump her up a little bit and help her out. All right, so that is that part of it. And I got all my stuff back, so then she's going to go ahead and attack and see what we can do here. All right, so she rolls 2 misses. I get to reroll 1 of them. And it is a hit. His ma... All right, he does not get that, so I'm going to do D6 wounds. So it'll be just 2. I'm good there, and I will spend the shiv to do D6 wounds. All right, so I'm doing 4 to him. So that will put him up to 9. And it's going to get me 25 points. Or 4 wounds is 30 points. Okay. That is her turn. So I use that. So then it's going to be his attack now. So on 3s. And he only hits once. All right, so she gets her defense, and she's good. And then the U.S. Marshal is going to get to move. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and I forgot. Every time these guys activate, they pull 2 closer, so I technically don't need to move. And he can't really be moved any closer. So I get my shots. And it's a 1 and a 3, so both of them are going to miss, and I have no grit. Darn. Okay. So that's that. Lantern check. 6 and a 2, so I'm good on that. And then we have movement. 5 on the gunslinger, I'm good. The judge for shots. 4, 5, and 3 are all hits. I'm dumping everything into there. All right, so that's going to be 2 damage, 3 damage, 4 damage. All right, so he was at 9. So that's going to put him at 13. Unfortunately, I have no way of doing extra. Okay. All right, that is his turn, and I get 20. All right, so she's got that and an attack, and I get to reroll one of them, and it is a hit. All right, so his ability, and he did roll a 6, so I have to roll my strength. I get 2 now because of her strength bonus, and I did roll a 5, so I'm good. And for damage, and it's a 6. That is enough to take him out. So that will finish him off for 15 points for her. And that is the end of that enemy. Just before he got to attack, I get loot for that. And we get to recover, but we're about ready to finish the mission here, so it's not going to really matter, as we'll heal it back up when we head back into town and that. All right, so first off, for the gunslinger, we have 25 gold and 30 experience points. And I forgot to do her ability because she was close to the gunslinger, so he would have gotten a couple off of that too. And he gets 25 gold. So that's that. And then her pull is D6 by 25, so she's going to get 125. So I'll just do 200. For her. And for, so it's just gold all around for everybody. So he gets 100 and he gets 20 experience points. What am I at here? So I'll just take another 50. Okay, there's that. All right, that is that. So then it is on to determining or heading back to town. So I'm not going to film all of that, but I can start off with, because it is for corruption, might be interesting to see what happens with our characters. So he does have 7 dark stones, so he's going to roll dice on 1s, 2s, and 3s. He has to make checks. And all of them, well, we got 1 there, and that's 6, and I got 1 more. All right, so 2 rolls on my willpower. And I blocked 1. I take 1, so that is going to put me up to 4, but not over the limit, so that's good. Over to the Saloon Girl, she has 3. And she's good on that. And over to, he has 2. And he takes 2, so he's up to 4 as well. Lots of corruption going on with our poor heroes. All right, that is everything. And I've gotten all my points and all that. So that is the end of the game, and I'm pretty much going to stop here. Well, that was fun, and I had a great time, and there were some really close calls, especially towards the end with the lantern checks. If I would have failed one more, there would have been another growing dread card added to the game, and that could have been really devastating for my heroes. And those Devourers are absolutely disgusting, especially with that 6+ cover save against anything that is hitting them from melee range, and with those tendrils pulling everybody in, it makes it really nasty. And with their high escape value, it makes it hard to get away from them, where you can really get to use your items. As it is, the Saloon Girl did lose one of her daggers, so the next time I'm in town, I'm going to have to buy another one of those hunting daggers to help her out and hopefully build her back up. And with that, going into another mission of the Derelict Ship would be absolutely nasty, especially with those Devourers now, as now my posse is level 3, as all my characters are level 3. That means that they're going to start adding elite abilities, so absolutely disgusting. Definitely am not looking forward to facing them again, but they are brutal enemies and definitely fun to add to your games. They definitely keep you on your toes, and it takes a lot to take them down. With that tough ability, not getting any crits on them, and that it just takes a ton to chew through them. And my dice were not being very kind there at the end with some of those rolls either, but that's the way it goes, and I, again, had a great time with it. I hope you did as well. Let me know in the comments down below if you noticed if I did anything. I did my best throughout the video. I think I did catch most of the mistakes as I was playing through and corrected them, but if you did notice anything else that I made mistakes on, post those in the comment section below, and I love hearing from you and hearing your thoughts on this as well. Let me know in the comments as well if you picked up any of these enemy packs, and if you have added them to your games and what your experiences have been so far as well. And let me know if there's anything else you want to see around this. I'm also thinking about doing another playthrough that is going to be Halloween themed. I think that would be kind of fun to include some vampires and werewolves and undead and all that, and kind of set the mood for the season. Let me know if that's something you'd like to see. And until next time, I'll see you later.